So I am happy and sad about this article. I'm happy because this is a really interesting topic. It's the Hittites, a Bronze Age civilization, but I am sad that this is not a good article. So usually if an article is really good, like a top tier Wikipedia will have a featured article symbol. Below that we'll have a good article, which has the symbol up here, top right. And this has neither of them. So it's a mediocre article, but it's not quite terrible, because when they're really bad, there's a sort of a warning sign that says, watch out. This needs more citations, this needs more work. So it's not the worst of the worst, but it's definitely not primo. But I'm so interested about this, and I do like Wikipedia, so might as well check it out. Without further ado, Hittites. So the Hittites were an Anatolian Indo-European people. Anatolian, so they inhabited Anatolia in the 3rd millennium. This is Anatolia, okay? Indo-European is a hypothetical, prehistoric, ethno-linguistic group of Eurasia who spoke Proto-Indo-European, the reconstructed common ancestor of the Indo-European language family. Okay, so it's an Anatolian Indo-European people who formed one of the first major civilizations of the Bronze Age in West Asia. So we're not talking about Mesopotamia, and we're not talking about the Egyptian area or the Levant. We're talking about Turkey, Anatolia. And this is the Bronze Age. So Bronze Age is anywhere in the 3000 BC all the way to 1200 BC. If we have a look at the timeline here that Wikipedia has so graciously given us, we'll see 1650 to 1180, which is primo Bronze Age era. So, possibly originating from beyond the Black Sea, they settled in modern-day Turkey. All right, so they perhaps migrated into that area. And this happened in the 2nd millennium BC, this is 2nd millennium BC. The Hittites formed a series of polities in north-central Anatolia, including the kingdom of Kussara before 1750 BC, the Kanesh or Nesha Kingdom 750 to 1650, and an empire centered on the capital, Hattusa, around 1650 BC. So, I guess prior to this Hittite culture, we have Kussara, Kanesh, Hattusa. These are different kingdoms. Now, note they said series of polities. Okay? Let's see what polities means. So polities is a group of people with a collective identity who are organized by some form of political institutionalized social relations and have a capacity to mobilize resources. I'm curious if the Mycenaean culture is also a series of polities. Let me know in the comments. So, yeah, it's clever to think of them as this one large homogeneous society or civilization, but in fact, it's probably more realistically a series of polities. So they have a shared culture and they can mobilize resources together anyways, let's read more. Known in modern times as the Hittite Empire, it reached its peak during the mid 14th century BC under hold on, folks. So the first thing that's that's throwing me off is this little thing above the S, which I don't even know what to do with that. So if anyone in the comments wants to let me know, I'd appreciate it. So this is a hard one. So Šuppiluliuma I. Šuppiluliuma. Okay, so Šuppiluliuma was this I guess king. Under his reign, they had the largest area, most territory. And it says, let's continue reading, when it encompassed most of Anatolia and parts of the northern Levant and Upper Mesopotamia, bordering the rival empires of the Hurri-Mitanni and Assyrians. Awesome. Okay, so my brain is starting to understand more. So Mesopotamia and Assyrians. Assyrian is a Mesopotamian culture or civilization, if I am not mistaken. I also think it's like Persian, but I'm not sure. Continuing. Between the 15th and 13th centuries BC, the Hittites were one of the dominant powers of the Near East, coming into conflict with the new kingdom of Egypt. Bam. The Middle Assyrian Empire. Bam. And the Empire of Mitanni. Bam bam. So what is this? Mitanni seems to me. I'm just gonna do a click in really quick because I have no idea like what we're looking at here. So Mitanni, aha. Oh damn. Okay, so this is Hittite. So this is Turkey, like out to the left, and this is just sort of Lebanon, I guess, and then like Syria. Okay. There we go. So it's like, and this is like proper like Mesopotamia here because we have the Tigris, the Euphrates. Maybe this is like northern Mesopotamia. Okay. So by the 12th century BC, much of the Hittite Empire had been annexed by the Middle Assyrian Empire. Got it. With the remainder being sacked by the Phrygian newcomers to the region. So this is also like a Anatolian kingdom. Confusing, folks. This is confusing. From the 12th century BC, during the late Bronze Age collapse, which is in my eyes, momentous. Like this Bronze Age collapse is big, and I'm gonna do an episode about that. So, continuing, during the late Bronze Age collapse, the Hittites, so excuse me about that. So during the late Bronze Age collapse, the Hittites splintered into several small independent states. So this is totally different than saying series of polities, When you see several small independent states, that means that they're like not mobilizing resources together, I think. And it has its own Wikipedia called these. So it's Neo-Hittite, Syro-Hittite, Luwian Aramaean. Okay. So some of which survived until the 8th century BC. Huh. That's like the Iron Age, and that's like the time of sort of classical antiquity, I think. Before succumbing to the Neo-Assyrian Empire. Lacking a unifying continuity, their descendants scattered and ultimately merged into the modern populations of the Levant and Mesopotamia. Very cool. Continuing. The Hittite language referred to by its speakers as this thing, Nesili or something. Again, we have that little S with the looks like a little U on top of the S. Don't know how to pronounce that. Referred to by its speakers as Nesili, the language of Nesha, was a distinct member of the Anatolian. Okay, so this is some information about the language. I'm just trying to wrap this up here because this is long. Let's read it. Let's just keep going. So this language was a distinct member of the Anatolian branch of the Indo-European language family, which is massive. I guess it's this entire thing. So huge. Along with the closely related Luwian language. It is the oldest, historically attested, Indo-European language. The history of the Hittite civilization is known mostly from cuneiform texts found in their former territories, and from diplomatic and commercial correspondence found in various archives of Assyria, Babylonia, Egypt, and the broader Middle East. The decipherment of these texts was a key event in the history of Indo-European studies. Scholars once attributed the development of iron smelting to the Hittites, who were believed to have monopolized ironworking during the Bronze Age. This is important because heavy use of iron moves us into the Iron Age. Again, quick reminder, Bronze Age, you need to have tin to make bronze, not a lot of tin, problematic. Iron, stronger, more readily available, and once that gets mass produced, we enter the Iron Age. This theory has been increasingly contested in the 21st century, with the late Bronze Age collapse and subsequent Iron Age seeing the slow, comparatively continuous spread of ironworking technology across the region. While there are some Iron objects from Bronze Age Anatolia, the number is comparable to that of iron objects found in Egypt, Mesopotamia, and in other places from the same period. And only a small number of these objects are weapons. X-ray fluorescence spectrometry suggests that most of all iron from the Bronze Age are derived from meteorites. The Hittite military also made successful use of chariots, which is a silly. It's just silly that they added this sentence. It doesn't feel like it connects to that paragraph. I'm gonna call it here because this is a long one. If I'd recommend this, perhaps I would. I don't know. It's not a good article, so it has a lot of information though, but doesn't have that good article. If there are any of you that work in Wikipedia and are editors, let me know if you guys can fix this up and give it that sort of seal of feature good or something, because it looks like a good one, but it's not.